A week after making a big jump on my AP Top 25 ballot, the Florida Gators made a big fall. Saturday night's loss to Kentucky dropped UF from 8th to 16th in my weekly rankings. The Gators' offense looked bad on a night where quarterback Anthony Richardson regressed. The defense, however, continued to show improvement, which is something I must consider. I also have to consider the opponents. I was higher on Kentucky than most of my colleagues entering the season, and I remain high on the Wildcats. Their defense looked good with the return of linebacker Jordan Wright, and quarterback Will Levis showed off his NFL arm and toughness. I moved Kentucky from 22nd to 8th on my ballot. Florida's win over Utah still looks impressive after the Utes blew out Southern Utah. One win over a top 20 team and one loss to another top 20 team puts UF somewhere in the middle. That's how I settled on 16th, between Texas and Utah. One on my ballot this week, Georgia. The Alabama/Ohio State/Georgia triumvirate can be in any order as far as I'm concerned, but the Crimson Tide narrowly beat their marquee opponent. The Buckeyes and Bulldogs didn't have a problem last week with Notre Dame or Oregon. That and Alabama's self-inflicted issues were the reasons I put Bama behind the other two. The Longhorns went from unranked to 15th on my ballot after a close loss to Alabama. That seems like a big move for a defeat, and it is, but it'll justify it for two reasons. First, the Crimson Tide is a juggernaut, so hanging with them is impressive. Second, this year is already proving to be wild, even by college football's wacky standards. There will be big moves up and down because I don't see much separation between teams 4 to 40. That's why Florida made a huge rise last week, and it's why Texas is making a big leap this week. Arkansas soared from 12th to 6th after beating South Carolina. The Razorbacks have two of the most impressive wins of anyone so far, over a Cincinnati team I have in the top 25 and the Gamecocks. BYU is up from 23rd to 7th after beating a strong Baylor team, a feat made more impressive considering the Cougars were without two of their top receivers. Tennessee was just outside my top 25 last week and is up to 13th after a win at Pitt. I had been skeptical of Oklahoma but saw no reason not to believe the advanced metrics, so I bumped the Sooners from 19th to 9th after they crushed Kent State. Now for the other part of that equation. Jimbo Fisher's Aggies slid from 7th to 24th after losing at home to Appalachian State. Notre Dame dropped from 6th to unranked on my ballot after an ugly home loss to Marshall. Pitt is off, too, mostly because the Panthers' backup quarterback didn't impress me and because the win over West Virginia looks much worse now after the Mountaineers lost to Kansas. Houston and Wisconsin are also off my ballot. Their departures made room for Tennessee, Texas, Kansas State, and Marshall, whose other win was a 52-point blowout of Norfolk State. I also considered Mississippi State, Washington State, Florida State, and Appalachian State. Hey race the AP Top 25 ballot I submitted Sunday morning. Never miss out on the latest with the Bucs, Rays, Lightning, Florida college sports, and more.